Okay, now we are at the last part of my keynote presentation, part 3, where we're going to discuss about solution-oriented curricula reform. Here we will talk about the imperative for sharing tacit knowledge, applying localization, global vision, global thinking, but local adaptation, local action, as well as using or developing pentahelix educational paradigm, which will be used to develop or reform our curriculum. Let's now start with the difference between tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge, which we talked about earlier. And here is the visual representation where you can see the difference between explicit and tacit knowledge. To give you a short introduction about what explicit knowledge is, basically it is a knowledge or information that is easily available in the internet through Google searches, and you can then find all kinds of information that you need to manage in order to make sense of it. These are all formulas, theories, examples that have been published and available for free and easy to access, but it may have very little monetary value because everybody can search for it, everybody can get it for basically free, and of course it's not competitive anymore. Everybody has the same information. Whereas explicit knowledge is more exclusive, more rare information that's not available in the public domain. It is basically information from the practical experiences of experts and business executive, entrepreneurs, practitioners, expert who have certain type of insight, certain type of unique experiences that have not been shared with a lot of other people. So here is another example of the explicit knowledge difference from the tacit knowledge, and this is all self-explanatory. You can study it yourself. Also, other visual representation between the two types of knowledge differences, and you can analyze it yourself. I just want to point out that tacit knowledge is very critical as it provides context. It provides cultural context or situational context. And this is important for applying localization, global thinking and vision, and also adapting it and taking action based on local context, local wisdom, local culture, personal experiences, etc. And why is it so important? It is important because in developing your curriculum or reforming your curriculum, basically we use a conceptual framework as represented as this triangle. So the most important part is the must know, and this will be probably 60% of your content in your curriculum, which will be the type of universal standards that people will have to know, whether they study it in Rio de Janeiro, in Tokyo, in Moscow, in Jakarta, or in San Francisco. It has to be the same. There is something that we call quality control, and this is the type of information that you need to have anywhere in the world. So on top of it, we should also have another part, and this is what we call the should know knowledge, should know information. This is where tacit knowledge, local contents, personal experiences, local wisdom, and context that is appropriate to be included in your curriculum to make it relevant and to make it appropriate for the local situation and local problem-solving needs. However, the most important part of all this content curriculum is the nice to know type of information. Not only should it be tacit knowledge, but also something that is different, something that is unique, and we call it the niche, the value positioning and value proposition that you're going to offer to your learners to be able for them to say, we are different. This is where we differ from the rest of the pack. This is why we are unique. This is where we can offer something different that other institution or other people or other group or other enterprises cannot offer. And this is where we have to be careful and make sure that we have something of a niche, and this, we call it the nice to know type of knowledge and information. So now, there is something that progressive universities are advocating, and that is they are preparing graduates not for a job, but to create jobs. And this is an important principle, important type of objective in their educational programs and education marketing as well, because the curriculum will be different. The curriculum that will prepare person or learner for a job will be different than a curriculum that will prepare people for creating jobs, the more entrepreneurial mindset. And that is a very important difference, and we need to be thinking and considering seriously about having curriculum that is similar to this type of philosophy. I will include also in this PowerPoint various slides about arguments why curriculum reform is needed. There are many. I don't want to go through all of them, but I just want to point out several things. The first one is the what I already described earlier, the democratization of information, communication, and education. And you can find a lot of slides that speak about this issue. And another important point and dimension of this need for curriculum reform is the shift from a triple helix to a pentahelix type of curriculum. Triple is 3 type of dimension, penta is 5, so there's a 2 additional aspect that needs to be considered in the knowledge society of today, and that is the availability of methods and approaches of crowdsourcing and crowdfunding. I will explain that a little bit later with another slide. And we also need to be acting like a knowledge broker, a tacit knowledge broker, not only as an educator, as a knowledge generator. No, we are brokering knowledge so that we can connect the dots. We can also connect people who need information and people who have information that will be useful in solving problems in the community or in any business environment or any kind of development work that's needed in a particular country. And also the use of the big data analytics that people are now using very, very productively for algorithm planning and algorithm type of AI-based learning and developing of problem-solving solutions. Now, we also need to be thinking about the need for a holistic and and multidisciplinary education, but that's not enough. We need to have now transdisciplinary type of curriculum that will be useful for learning, thinking, understanding, problem solving in a very complex society and complex world today. So here, we're going to show you the main difference between inter or multidisciplinary approach and a transdisciplinary approach. So you can see the difference, why it is different in this slide. And because of that, then I will need to propose a conceptual framework for a holistic and transdisciplinary local edupreneurship curriculum for the year 2020 to 2030, focusing on technology and business. Here is the representation of the proposed conceptual framework that is transdisciplinary, that is using localization concept for an edupreneurship curriculum. It is too much time to discuss item by item, but I just want to point out to you that there are two parts in this curriculum. The part on the left is the explicit knowledge dimension, the type of aspect that you need to have in your curriculum based on explicit knowledge. On the right-hand column, you need to look at the dimension of tacit knowledge requirement that needs to be included in the curriculum so that we can have a sort of synergy between these two types of knowledge, but more and more, the emphasis will have to be on tacit knowledge and less on explicit knowledge. So again, please look at it carefully, review it, analyze it, and use this to help develop your own curriculum based on your situation, market needs, and industry needs as well. So this is, again, a little explanation of why we're talking about pentahelix or not triple helix. The traditional triple helix is the three aspect that is the synergy between university, industry, and government. But now we have two additional dimensions that can be added because of crowdsourcing. We have then the possibility of having people or society inputs as well. And also we have now the ability through crowdfunding, capital investment, or participation by multi-stakeholder participants through various modes of investment or financing based on needs and based on the type of institution you have your vision and mission using the kind of strategy that you have been developing over the years. So this is another example of what pentahelix is all about. And here I am giving you some ideas about why we need to transform educators into edupreneurs in order to prepare students not for a job, but to create jobs. So there are some ideas why we have to be thinking this way, having transformation into an edupreneurship, and also other type of thinking in terms of the educational reform that is needed today. Well, there's a question whether university will become dinosaurs or not. Well, it depends. So it depends on the way you resolve the problems that we have been talking today and the strategies that you have managed to employ or develop in order to make your institution relevant or not in the next 5 or 7 years in this disruptive situation or disruptors world of today. So finally, I will leave you with 10 simple messages, which are the summary of lessons learned and emerging trends. And please consider this as an agenda setting about the issues you will need to be thinking about in order for you to come up with a more cost-effective and efficient, strategic type of solution in making your institution competitive and prosperous. Here are the slides and the 10 tips or the 10 important aspects to consider for you to reform your own institution in terms of its strategy, in terms of its methods, and in terms of its outcome, and also relevance to the need of the society to make it demand-driven and market-oriented, okay? So these are the 10 important ideas in order to have not only an education reform, but an educational revolution. So finally, this is my parting thought. I think in the future, when we have conferences like this, it is better to invite the younger startup type of entrepreneurs and disruptors, those people with tacit knowledge about what the society and market needs are of today and for 5 or 7 years from now, instead of inviting people like me, old timers and professionals who have a lot of ideas, but maybe old irrelevant ideas. Maybe our thinking and our experiences may not be of relevance anymore in 5, 7 years time. Whereas those people, the younger generation, may have different and more relevant ideas for the society's need, the market needs of 5 or 7 years from now. And those young people may not have the credential or the academic credential or have even not finished probably university, but they have proven that they are able to create and offer products and services that is in demand by society. The test case is that they are able to prosper. Their businesses are very successful. And therefore, they have something that they can offer. And we need to be talking to these people, bring them and introduce them to our learners, make them be involved in our learning activities and learning processes. So again, we need to depend on those younger generation, the startup entrepreneurs who are innovative and who has proven that they have something to offer that the society are willing to come back and to become repeat clients or customer of their enterprises. With that, I will end this presentation, and I thank you for your time that you have spent with me, and I wish you the best of everything and all the best with your endeavors and in your career today and in the future. Thank you very much again for the opportunity to speak to you all. Thank you.